The largest unsolved heists in history, when geniuses become thieves. While perpetrators of most heists are quickly caught by the police, there are a few criminal masterminds who have successfully escaped with their multi-million-dollar loot and have never been apprehended. These unsolved heists showcase the sheer brilliance of these cunning thieves. In each heist, each member of the group plays a crucial role, and everything must be executed flawlessly on the day of the robbery. Any minor mistake, such as leaving fingerprints or DNA at the crime scene, can provide a clue to law enforcement, leading to the capture of all members of the group. The infamous unsolved heist involving the theft of diamonds in the city of Antwerp, Belgium, stands out in history. In this case, a gang of criminals managed to penetrate one of the world's most secure vaults. The School of Turin, an Italian criminal group, became renowned for stealing a significant amount of diamonds, gold, and silver valued at over $100 million from the Antwerp Diamond Center in 2003. The mastermind behind the plan was Leonardo Notarbartolo, a cunning thief nicknamed the Artist. He obtained the vault's layout during visits posing as a diamond dealer, using a camera concealed inside a pen to capture the vault's blueprint. The building housing the vault was deemed impenetrable, a 14-story fortress guarded by a private security team and metal fences where everyone inside was identity checked. The vault itself was protected by 10 layers of security, including infrared heat detectors, Doppler radar, magnetic fields, vibration sensors, and a lock with 100 million possible combinations. Notarbartolo during his visits gained access to the vault area where hundreds of safe deposit boxes with 11,000 possible combinations were stored. He managed to directly conceal a small camera near the vault. The thieves created a replica of the vault, and Notarbartolo, along with his accomplices, spent months meticulously planning the heist. The genius, an expert in alarm systems, the monster, skilled in all aspects of burglary from lockpicking to mechanics and electronics, the Sultan of Keys, an elderly man renowned as one of the best key forgers in the world, and a companion named Swift. 2 days prior to the heist, a shipment of diamonds worth millions of dollars arrived at the Diamond Center, making it the opportune moment for the robbery. On the day of the heist, the thieves managed to reach the vault through a shaft. They covered the surveillance cameras and the genius disabled the alarm system. Upon reaching the entrance of the vault, they deactivated the magnetic field. To their surprise, the Sultan of Keys found the main key to the vault near the dressing room and they entered the vault. They worked at the fastest possible pace because the heat from their bodies was raising the temperatures inside the vault. The monster began disabling one of the alarm systems inside the vault. The Sultan of Keys went to the safe deposit boxes and the thieves emptied the contents of boxes as much as they could. They returned to Notarbartolo waiting for them in a vehicle outside the building. However, everything went alright when Swift and Notarbartolo went to the forest to dispose of the stolen documents. The plan was to burn the documents, but Swift panicked and the papers scattered everywhere. Notarbartolo, busy burning another part of the documents, realized the situation and concluded that they had no time to collect the scattered papers. He was confident that no one would find the documents, so he and Swift fled the scene. Nevertheless, a day later, a farmer who owned the land found the documents. Having had previous issues with local youths dumping trash on his property, he assumed it was their doing and contacted the police. The discovery of the documents ultimately led to the arrest of Notarbartolo. The other members of the group who had fled to Italy with the jewels were apprehended and each sentenced to 5 years in prison. However, the Sultan of Keys was never caught, and it remains a mystery how this criminal group managed to circumvent all the security measures. Bank heist in Brazil. In 2005, a Brazilian criminal group infiltrated the vault of one of the branches of the Central Bank of Brazil, making off with an equivalent of £27 million in cash. The thieves meticulously planned the heist for 3 months. They rented a commercial property near the bank and dug a tunnel extending 78 meters from there to underneath the bank. Disguised as landscaping company specializing in selling artificial and real grass, they successfully concealed their activities. The tunnel was so well constructed that it had ventilation and lighting systems, and the thieves even broke through a meter of reinforced concrete underground. Through this tunnel, they managed to steal 5 suitcases filled with uninsured banknotes weighing close to 3,500 kilograms. The bank only discovered the theft 2 days later. Since the banknotes were not sequentially numbered, tracking them down was impossible. It is believed that 25 individuals were involved in the heist, but only 8 were apprehended, and the fate of the rest remains grim. 2 months after the heist, the body of Luis Fernando, believed to be the mastermind behind the robbery, was found on a secluded road in western Rio de Janeiro. He had been kidnapped before this incident. A year later, another suspect, Evandro Jose da Silva, was found dead in the slums of Sao Paulo. Only £7 million of the stolen money was recovered, and the remaining £20 million was never found. Bank heist in Northern Ireland. The bank heist in Northern Ireland stands as one of the largest and most lucrative heists in British history. In 2004, a group of 3 masked men took the families of the 2 bank employees named Grace Ward and Kevin McMullen, the key holders to the vault, hostage with their guns, successfully stole £26.5 million in cash. The criminals nabbed their brothers and sisters, romantic partners, and their parents of the 2 bank employees for 24 hours and forced the workers to continue working. At 6 p.m., when all the bank staff went home, Grace and Kevin stayed behind to allow the robbers access. Around 6 p.m., Grace was compelled to leave the bank with a sport bag containing £1.2 million in cash. Chris Ward handed the sports bag to one of the robbers waiting in a car and then returned to the vault. Since then, the thieves had access to the bank vault and successfully stole £26.5 million. The stolen money primarily consisted of uncirculated banknotes from the Northern Bank, but it also included £8.85 million in used banknotes. More than £1 million of stolen money was in other currencies such as US dollars and euros. The mastermind behind the heist and those directly involved in it remain unknown. However, a year later, in 2005, a senior police officer in Northern Ireland announced during a press conference in Belfast that the Irish Republican Army, IRA, was responsible for the heist. The only individual arrested in connection with the $30 million heist was Ted Cunningham, but he claims to have committed no wrongdoing. In 2020, he told the Irish media that he has been focused on clearing his name from the allegations against him. In 2005, Cunningham was arrested at his home, and he faced trial in 2008 on charges of 10 counts of money laundering. Ultimately, in 2009, he was convicted as a criminal and sentenced to 10 years in prison. Cunningham was released on a payroll in 2012 following a Court of Appeal decision. However, in another court hearing, he was found guilty of 2 counts of money laundering in 2005, one involving £100,000 and another £175,000. In 2014, he received a suspended sentence of 5 years in prison, but he is still seeking a review of his conviction. Experts, including the FBI, believe that the Northern Bank heist was carried out by internal forces. Chris Ward, the vault keyholder at the Northern Bank who assisted the robbers after his family was taken hostage, was arrested in 2005. However, he was acquitted of any involvement in the theft and was not considered a criminal.